This is the Havana Post-Cuban news brief. The Trump administration decided to terminate the humanitarian parole program, known as CHNV, which was established during the Biden administration, affecting more than 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. This revocation requires those without another legal status to leave the U.S. by the end of a 30-day notice period, after which they will be prioritized for deportation. The revocation also invalidates their work permits, impacting their legal ability to work in the U.S. The CHNV program was designed to offer a legal pathway for migrants from the 4 listed countries to enter the United States, reducing irregular immigration to the U.S.-Mexico border. The Trump administration's termination of this program is positioned as a move to curb what it describes as abuse of the humanitarian parole system, arguing it undermined public safety and American workers. There are concerns about the policy's potential impact on certain voter demographics, such as Cuban Americans, who supported the policy because it facilitated the arrival of their relatives.
We have some breaking news. CBS News just posted that the Trump administration has announced that it will be seeking to end parole for individuals who entered on the CHNV program and will be targeting these individuals for deportation in the next 30 days. The CHNV program was for Cubans, Haitians, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans. And the federal government is saying that within the next 30 days, they will start targeting people who entered on that program for deportation. It did say that they will focus their priorities on individuals who have not applied for some other type of relief. So, for example, if someone entered on the parole and then they applied for asylum, they will be a lower priority according to the news article. The federal notice was just posted. It's pretty long, so I'm going to read it over the weekend. But this is a good time to schedule a consultation, speak with an attorney, especially if you might have other options for relief, such as asylum or adjustment of status.
Breaking immigration news for anyone that's Cuban, Nicaraguan, Haitians, or Venezuelan that enter the United States on the humanitarian program that President Biden put into place. This Tuesday, March 25th, there's going to be a notice. That notice is saying that all the paroles that were issued under this program will expire in 30 days, which means April 24, 2025. In other words, if your parole hasn't already expired, it is going to expire on that day. And that's when, if you don't have anything else pending, like asylum, you're out of status, which means that you must depart the United States. Now, hopefully, every single person that's watching the video has filed for asylum. If you haven't filed for asylum, you should do that immediately if you have a credible fear of returning to your country. I will keep you posted. Like, share, and follow on the Immigrant.
Last month, the CHNV program was terminated, which means no one can apply under the program anymore and no one can be paroled into the U.S. under the program. But what happens to the 500,000 plus Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans who've already been paroled under the program? Unless we hear otherwise, these individuals should be able to remain in the U.S. throughout their entire parole period, but they won't be able to extend or reapply for parole. So these individuals need to start thinking about next steps for their legal status to see if they have any options. Keep in mind that even if parole expires or is terminated, it remains a manner of entry, which means that if you have a U.S. citizen spouse or U.S. citizen child over age 21, you may be eligible to apply for a green card in the U.S. without ever leaving. Other options include TPS, if it's still available for your home country, asylum, if you have a fear of returning to your home country, or for Cubans, adjustment of status, applying for a green card under the Cuban Adjustment Act once you've been in the U.S. for 1 year or more.
532,000 legal immigrants to the U.S. have 30 days to self-deport or they will be arrested by Homeland Security. This just came out on CBS News. This is Friday, March 21st. This just came out. The U.S. is going to revoke the legal status of more than 500,000 migrants. And make no mistake, these are legal. People came here under the Biden administration under something called the CHNV, and it was a path to make sure there would be less illegal migration, so they gave them a way to legally migrate, except Trump has now decided that he's just going to revoke that. The termination of their work permits and deportation protections under an immigration authority known as Parole will take effect in late April, 30 days after March 25th, according to a notice from the federal government. The move will affect immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who flew to the U.S. under the Biden CHNV program. The Department of Homeland Security said it will seek to arrest and deport those subject to the policy change if they fail to depart the U.S. in the next 30 days. And they're urging them to use the newly repurposed Customs and Border Protection Home smartphone app to register for self-deportation. That sounds yikes. DHS says it retains the authority to target them, anybody who arrived under this program before the 30-day period lapses. So basically, if you're here, if you're in the U.S. under one of those programs, you have 30 days to get out or obtain one of the other things that they say that you might be able to have, or even less than that if the Department of Homeland Security decides to go after you. So that's barbaric. And honestly, like, I don't even have words. Sending people back to Cuba, sending people back to Nicaragua, Venezuela, which I'm sure have long and rich and beautiful cultures, but Venezuela has been under a crisis for quite some time. Nicaragua has a dictator. Cuba is a communist country. What are we doing? I mean, not we, but just we, the royal world is... What is going on in America? The rest of the world is basically just looking on in shock at this point. I fear it's only going to get worse.
Good morning again, my TikTok family and friends out there. So I have another little news here that I wanted to bring out, but this is for the Caribbean community, more specifically my little island of Jamaica, but it's for all Caribbean, islands or places. So it seems like Donald Trump recently announced a visa sanction against any government that's utilizing Cuba's overseas medical mission. So just for those of you guys that live here in America, so Cuba is really one of the main nation out there that help the Caribbean, whether it's Jamaica. I want to say, I don't want to misspeak, so I'm just going to speak for Jamaica now because that's what I know about. For years, Cuba would go to Jamaica with a medical team and either try to educate or, try to help with any kind of, medical technology, or even some of the doctors are there actually, working with sick citizens. So Cuba is really the nation that helps the Caribbean on any medical field, period. All right. So now Donald Trump is putting out there to all nation that works with Cuba that he's going to put sanction on the government visa. So basically he will put restrictions on the visa, whether the government, I'm going to speak for Jamaica again. So Andrew Holness, him and his administration, maybe they won't be able to come to America, put sanction on the visa like that, or not issue any new visa. I don't think it's to the citizen of Jamaica, but I'm not sure. But I know for sure it's for the government of Jamaica or other islands. I don't want to just say Jamaica. I'm just speaking to Jamaica specifically because that's what I know about, because that's where I'm from. So I know the history of, the Cubans coming and helping in the medical field. So I just want to educate you guys on what's happening there and do your own research so you guys know what Andrew Holness is doing here, because I'm not sure where the help else is going to be coming from if they ban Cuba for helping medically in Jamaica. This will be devastating for the island. Devastating. And this is very selfish of Donald. Clearly, Donald Trump does not care about black or brown people. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm going to say it right now. And words of Kanye West, even though I cannot stand that man, but right now, Donald Trump does not care about brown or black people. The idea that you're going to put sanction on visas for these nation that's getting help medically from the only place that will help them, Donald Trump, as Jamaican would say, SYM. My Jamaicans know what I'm talking about that. I'm not going to say it here to disrespect, but SYM, all day, every day, to you, Donald Trump and your administration. Anyway, my little islands, I'm just educating you guys. Please be aware and also do your own research to see what your local government is doing about this, because this is you guys' health. I don't live in Jamaica. I haven't been there for years. Yes, that's where I'm from, but I haven't been there in years. So you guys take what you want to take away from this and do your research to see what your local government is doing, because it's your health. Have a blessed day.
Just ordered the deportation of 500,000 Cuban, Venezuelan, and Haitian immigrants that came here the right way. And my question for my fellow Cubans is, are y'all still feeling special? My entire childhood was spent being fed the narrative that our family came here the right way, and that everybody else that's complaining about being deported, well, they just need to go back to where they came from, start the process over legally. I don't want to ever hear another Cuban American say some shit like that ever again. I'm going to laugh in your face. Maybe you all will finally realize that no matter how much you try to blend into white Western European culture, no matter how much you try to pretend that you don't eat ham croquettes for breakfast and that you've never had ajiaco for dinner in your entire life, the problem is that Donald Trump is never going to see you as human. It's always been about racism. Here's the part that we like to talk about in our homes when no one else is listening, but I'm going to go ahead and say that quiet part out loud. You all think that you are better than every other type of Latino American. Conservative Cuban Americans, MAGA Cuban Americans, think that you are better than every other flavor of Latino American. And now we have proof. You are no different. We are no better than anybody else. No matter how many times you place your vote for Donald Trump and the Republican Party, they are still going to see you as subhuman. And even if you hang your hat on the fact that you came here the right way, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter to him, because if he wants you gone, he's going to find a way to
This is super duper breaking news. When I say super duper breaking, Bill Malusian with Fox News just reported on this a little over an hour ago. He reported at 6:42 p.m. March 21st, 2025. It is now 8 p.m. So this is what he says. The Trump administration is revoking the legal status and work permits of more than 500,000 migrants who flew into the U.S. via President Biden's controversial CHNV migrant flights mass parole program. In a notice posted online, DHS says migrants who came in via this program will need to self-deport by late April within 30 days of the policy change going into the Federal Register on March 25th. DHS says they will seek to detain and deport anyone who does not leave the country within that 30-day window. So that starts on March 25th. So the 30-day window will end around April 24th, April 25th. What that's going to look like moving forward, I have no idea. I actually wasn't expecting this. So not sure about that. But the CHNV program was a program that Joe Biden put in place to allow people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Basically, they can apply for this program in their home country, and then they will be flown directly into the United States and given a 2-year protected status, and they're given work permits protected for 2 years. That's where you saw like Springfield, Ohio. I think some of them made it there. You saw all these towns with a lot more people. A lot of them were on these programs. So that's why people were saying, no, they're legal. Because technically, yeah, under the Biden administration, they were legal. If you remember back in January when Donald Trump took office, he immediately stopped that program, which meant that anyone with future appointments, those were automatically canceled, and then no more flights were going to be coming in from those countries. And now it looks like he took it a step further and is saying, if you're here on this program, we're revoking that program and you have 30 days to self-deport out of the country. Again, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know. And they say to be on a register, so that could possibly be the CBP Home app, which used to be the CBP One app. Anyway, that's the news. That's what we know so far. I thought I would share that with you because I was literally in the middle of a live stream. And
so this one is a big one. This will go into effect in April, from what I'm hearing. So let me know what you think about this one. If you have people, Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, Let me know what you think about this policy. You know, that's gonna be creating a lot of company will be affected by this. You know, the one that hire immigrants and all that good stuff, legal immigrants. But yeah, it's breaking news. You know, they just announced this yesterday. Let's see how everything go.